Everything you need to know about the new smart fortwo Cabrio. That's today on Autogefühl, your #1 resource for in-depth car reviews and your #1 community to discuss cars with Thomas. You can see it right here. We have it once here in the closed version, and then behind me there's all the opened one. And of course we'll show you the opening process. It hasn't changed in comparison to the previous generation of this car. We're going to examine that, and of course everything about the exterior, interior and the driving here of this turbo petrol engine we have here, in combination with the dual clutch transmission. Let's go with this review. Talking about the front, well, the Cabrio is not really different from the normal hatch version, the closed one, and especially is for the new generation of the Smart that we have this new comb structure grille, and everything looks a little bit, let's say, toy-like, and some like it, some don't. What about your opinion? Put me those in the comments. And as here, right here at the front, I can show you what's beneath the hood. Well, it's not the engine here, but when we can open those two levers in the front, you can close it with the key, by the way, that you have a restricted access. Then you can open this hood, and well, what it is for, you can see, you can just fill up some fluids and the battery is placed in the front here. The side profile of this 2.69 m long car is not dominated anymore by this one box design. It's now called 1.5 box because we have some kind of a hood in the front. Then, well, the convertible, you see this one here can be retracted. Later on we'll soon show you that, and you've already seen it in the car with the background. Everything else here is in the soft cover, available here in black, but also in jeans blue and also in the red color as for the roof. Then again, different colors also available for the body and for the Tritium cell, which is also a kind of signature for the Smart. This one here is the Passion trim level. There's the entry trim level, also called Pure. Then there's Passion, Prime and Proxy. More about that later than in the interior as well. But you know, the Proxy trim has the biggest alloys, so that's for the exterior so far. Talking a little bit about the prices as well. In Germany, for example, the Smart, the basic Smart, the closed one starts at about 10,000 euros. In the US, it's about 14,000 US dollars, a little bit more expensive. And then just the surplus for the Cabriolet, for the convertible, is about 3,500 euros. That one you have to pay extra then for the convertible. But if you put it in a higher trim level and also put the turbo engine inside, you can easily get the price up to 15,000, 16,000 euros, or even in top trims about to $20,000 in the US. So it's definitely not a cheap car, but if you compare it to other convertibles, it's one of the cheapest convertibles on the market, and definitely the best city convertible, as you will find a parking lot anywhere. And that got me to the rear of the car, where you see that the soft top is really continuing all the way until the back. That is also a reason I will show you very soon when we open the top. And all about, to sum up the car from the technology, well, the weight is of course a little bit higher than with the convertible, about 50 kilograms more, and so it's not below 900 kilograms, but just a little above 900 kilograms, but it was still very light for a car. And I always love to show you some other color variations. This one here with the matte gray, glossy black, also for the alloys. And then this is the second roof color that is available in red. Also quite stylish combination. What's your favorite? Now there's here DJ Thomas in the house with a JBL sound machine, and this is a special, unique setting up. And there are only 2 cars in the world that have this setup. You cannot buy it, unfortunately. This is just, that built 2 times just for show purpose. I mean, look at that light show, and you got the light show here, right in the back. Oh yeah, what's up? And also at the inside of the doors, and even more. And I think if you close the door and also the hatch, and then put it on full volume, I think your ears will fly away or be blown away. Let's say it that way. What do you think about that version here? And I have 2 more color combinations for you. The first one, white plus red. Do you like that one? And the second combination, blue and this silver, and that is of course my favorite with Thomas Blue. Is it also your favorite pick, that one here? And you might wonder about those body panels. Yes, they are made from plastic, and you could say, oh, that's bad, that's cheap. Well, it has one big advantage. You can see it right here. It can be squished and just comes back again. So some small bumps, which do happen inside the city, they are then no problem for the body panel. And this very body panel, you see, it looks pretty much okay as it is here. It says a counter here has been squished already 5,800 times. So this is all about. And finally the Brabus Tailormade version, and this one is not tuned in any way, so this is not the real Brabus Smart. This is just the design package for exterior and interior. Matte blue paint and 16-inch alloys, as well as some special exhaust. And I really like that blue contrasting interior, look at that. Awesome. I got a knob here inside. I will soon show you that, how that looks like. And for example, also with the DS3 convertible, we know that is kind of the same system, that we have the soft top here and you can put it up here. See, the space is already quite big. Hey guys, let the sun shine in, and that's already a quite nice solution. And this one is really handy because I think at about 120 kilometers you can open and close that one here, and that's a very good solution then, definitely, because some other convertibles you can only open and close at very low speeds, even the soft top ones mostly limited to 40 or 50 kilometers an hour. Then here there's a second step possible, and that is this one. So then you have even more air inside, and especially for a city like Valencia. So special greetings to our Spanish viewers today. Very beautiful sunshine. Valencia is one of the cities where the spring obviously starts already in winter time. This is here the second step then. And I think this one I will use quite often when I'm driving this car. But there's also a third step. That one is really removing the sides here. Then you got the more the true convertible feeling. But now it also gets a little bit complicated, and they haven't changed this roof process in this new generation. And I've asked them why. Well, I said it would have been too expensive to change it, to put a new one. And they also said that existing customers were pretty much fine with it. So if you're an existing smart convertible customer, put me that one in the comments if you like the system here or if you don't. And all of the other ones who don't know it so far, I will show you right now. And to open it, the roof has to be all the way down. So on the second step here, Then I already open the trunk, because there I will store sidebars later on. We'll show you that one in detail. Then I go to the sidebar, and easy way is, for example, to open the door and you have better access. And then there's, you can see it on both sides, there's a knob, and you have to not only press it once, but twice. And then you can remove this sidebar here. I'll just store it temporarily, because I'll then later on show you where it's really stored. Then I go to the other side. And of course it's better when you do this with two people, then you're just faster, definitely. So there it is, and then let's see how we can store them. And here it is, and I'm not sure what you think about that, guys, but I think at that point it gets a little bit ridiculous. So I open that storage space here, and then I see what bar is marked with R for right. And that one here, I have to check out this knob. The right one comes on the right side. I have to place it exactly right here, and then I have the second bar, and the second bar says L here on the other side, and it also says L here inside. And then I can put both right in here. Close this half hatch again, which is stored a little bit higher now. And then I can fix it. And everything is stored quite clean. And of course it reduces the space we have in the trunk a little bit then. Now I can start driving. And this is now the maximum convertible feeling you can have, with removed bars, windows down, and also that one here lowered. You can put that one higher up again to have a little bit more protection from the air around you. But when it's really hot, you drive that way, and that's also the way we of course will be driving today. But also we are putting the roof on close, that we can tell you something about the sound insulation. So we will deliver you both in the driving experience. Let's now check the engine and of course the interior. We at Autogefühl, we always want to deliver you a very authentic view on every car, and therefore most of our stuff we record is really live on tape. So you also get to know when I get some problems with handling a car, because that is also displaying how handy a car really is. This suitcase did perfectly fit into this trunk when the bars were actually installed, but now I want to check if it does still fit when the bars are stored in here, because obviously the height is limited. Yeah, and it does fit in here, so well done. But it's very close. But for one person to the airport, that still works then. Does it close? Not yet. Let's see, maybe I can put it a little bit further in. Yeah, very close, but it does work. So let's take a look at the engine, and when you have put the soft top a level higher, then you can also use this loading help. You can have better access to the trunk. That one didn't work as I had it lowered so far, but here with this one here, it's also better possible to put the suitcase in, of course. So, and then the engine is placed below this mat, and it's very well isolated, because of course it creates heat, and you should never put something refrigerated or something like that in the trunk here with any smart fortwo or for4, because it really creates a lot of heat. And then we have to open 6 plastic screws here with the engine to really see the engine or work with it. Usually no one would do that as a private customer. But here we can show you that you can really check out the engine. And there it is. There you can see it. This one here is the 0.9 liter turbo engine, 90 horsepower. The strongest engine that is available. And now I've put back the cover. As I said, this one here, turbo petrol engine, 90 horsepower. There are also 2 naturally aspirated engines available, one with 70, the other one with 60 horsepower, so they're definitely weaker. And there's a big difference in the 0 to 100 acceleration. 15 seconds for the smaller ones, the naturally aspirated one, 10 seconds for the turbo engine. 5 seconds, really a huge difference in acceleration then. So if you want more power, go for the turbo. And then there's the 5-speed manual gearbox available, or the 6-speed DCT, the dual clutch transmission, which we also have here. But now, pay attention, is 1 second slower actually, because there's one more gear and also adds weight 35 kilograms, the DCT. Therefore, the acceleration is slower with the automatic transmission here. But overall, it's of course still a good and comfortable pick. However, about 1,000 euros extra adds again more, about 10% of the total vehicle price, so you really have to think about if you want to spend that one. Well, but this loading LP I think is very good, because we then can use all the space we have. And I mean, you seriously have to think about the car is less than 3 meters long, and considering that, the space in trunk is still okay. Let's get inside. The interior of the Smart fortwo is always joyful, definitely. And that's what I also love about the car, because I love when I have really good interiors that do something emotional. And we can see it right here. This one here with the black trim as well, the rather unemotional trim, the rather elegant trim of all the emotional Smart trims. Passion trim level, as I've told you so far, that is the one that comes directly after the basic Niveau and is not that expensive, so an overall good choice. You can see we also have a black dashboard, but you can also get it, for example, in orange if you want to have it more extroverted. Signature for the Smart are those special round vents. They look, like they would be from some design museum or something like that, but always arouse a lot of attention. And we everywhere see those round forms also at the optional infotainment system with the GPS inside. You have to think about, do you really need this? About 1,500 euros extra. Again, about more than 10% of the vehicle price comes extra when you want to have the GPS inside. Then the seats, those one here, the cloth seats, and they're perfectly fine, especially also for the convertible, because you don't sweat on them. Then I'll take a seat. And the good thing about the Smart is you always have a rather upright seating position. The restraints are rather always upright, because you also don't have too much space to lean back. But I mean, for such a short car, I can really go quite far back with the seats. So even me with 1.86 meters, I have to go more in the front if I want to have a secure position here to steer the way all the way. And about the steering wheel, you can't push it out and in. That would be a little bit cooler. Then you can just put it up and down again. And as I think 1 year ago we tested the Smart fortwo for the first time, the all new generation. There were some parts where I said, not too good quality, but this has improved by now. So they have stepped up the game a little bit, worked on some of the small details. Also, for example, the buttons on the steering wheel. This has improved, and I really like that, because they sometimes also take our criticism and they say, okay, maybe we can improve those details. Really good job here. So it's not the high-class premium quality we see here everywhere, but definitely it looks solid, and also with some quite nice solutions in detail I can soon show you. Maybe just as a general thought about the other trim levels, there's also the so-called prime trim level. That one is mainly about genuine leather seats, but you don't need them and you shouldn't go for them. And then there's the proxy trim level. This is my favorite one. There you have white faux leather on the outside, artificial one, or leather red also called, and then blue cloth on the inside. This is a really, really joyful color combination then. But it's also the most expensive trim level, because it also comes included with other features already. Let's now check out the details. The RPM meter and an analog clock is in the left top here. It's a strange solution definitely, but somehow funny. Optional seat heating placed at the left lower part of the seat. There we have the steering wheel buttons in detail and the instruments, analog speedometer, and then a digital screen on the inside for consumption and so on. 2 bottle holders. I'll give you a better view now because I really like this. I mean, it's not the most high-class solution, but it's somehow fancy with a magnifying glass here inside to set the temperature. I like it when you have something unique, which no other car has. Infotainment unit, as I said, GPS is optional. And sound you can control right here. Most of the rest, besides the home button, you can go here with the touchscreen, and the responsiveness is actually quite okay. See it right here. Just to browse a little bit through the menu. We also have a rear view camera in here. I can show you that quite soon. How the GPS looks like. View map, that you get an impression here. Let's say we have seen better visualizations. Valencia, right at the coast, such a beautiful place here. Definitely really nice. It's a TomTom GPS. If you can also connect your phone via Bluetooth here, then you can set it up, or here add device, then that is also no problem. No, I won't do it now because it creates some interferences with the camera microphone. Services maybe, we can show you that right here. That leads us also to mirror link. So you can plug in your smartphone to mirror it. So I can also show you where to plug in the smartphone quite soon. So everything you need to have. But then again, it's a question, do you want to have it fully specced, or do you want to rather have a pure smart, which is also not that expensive then? Storage spaces inside of the doors, you can see, well, it's quite huge for such a small car, what we have at the inside of the door. Then we have the glove box. That one is sadly just plopping down and also not that big. Beverages, I talked about that space. And then this USB plug for the mobile phone, 12-volt power supply, and another beverage holder right here. And a net right here, but you can also just unplug that one here. It's, oh, there it is. And then you have direct access through the back of the trunk, and you can just remove the whole stuff here. That is also possible. Just put that one here out and then leave it at home. Then you have even more space and you have really the direct access here. Also nice solution, but if you have it installed, of course also some kind of safety reason, because then nothing can fly towards here and maybe land in the front windscreen or maybe on your head. And a hidden compartment right here. Very nice to store some secret stuff. And right next to the automatic shifting lever is the button where I control the roof closing or opening. Rear view camera. There can be a better resolution definitely, and it's also not that big. You see, it doesn't even fill the whole screen, but I mean, if it would fill the whole screen, it would be more zoomed out. Zoomed in, sorry. Let's see the adjusting helping lines here. Well, maybe it's nice to have it, of course, but if you think about the extra price, and again, this is probably the car where you can best leave that option out. And now to our driving part. Maybe you see it on the camera. The car is a little bit shaking when it's at standstill, especially on the dashboard, and you can also see that on the steering wheel. That's a little bit irritating. Even in neutral gear, still the same. But what is good, turning in reverse, well, I have a rear view camera here, but I don't necessarily need it. I mean, I cannot directly see behind the car, but I know where it ends, definitely. And it's so easy to steer, you don't need any power, and there's just a very small entry. So I can't imagine passing through this very tiny hole here than with any other car, but here with the Smart fortwo, it's no problem at all. As I said earlier, the turbo engine now 90 horsepower. The last time I was driving the Smart fortwo, I had the naturally aspirated engine, and well, for the city it is really fine. But of course, when you're getting to higher speeds, you really lack power. Here with the turbo, by the way, you maybe also see it on camera, the shaking gets a little bit better when you're just driving on the dashboard. And well, you don't feel it when you're sitting here. The turbo has a good acceleration, and we have all opened here with open top, open sides, open windows. So to give you the freest feeling there is. And well, 17 degrees, so that's still a little bit chilly because now everything is coming through. So this setup here, as we have it right here, is really something when it's really, really hot, about 30 degrees or something like that. However, I can also put the windows up, and then you can easily switch your setup. So now it's suddenly way warmer, and I think you can drive with this setup even maybe, let's say, 10 degrees, 7, 8 degrees, something like that. So also suitable for the winter. And you know, as you can also see from the outside, due to this box design, it's not that so much air is coming in, and I feel pretty much caged in here, and not really much air is coming in. So it will also be suitable for winter convertible driving. And another thing, I can also put it to the first convertible level, so they have even a little bit more protection. Does that really make a difference behind? Let's go back again. Not really. Maybe I have the impression that it's even better when it's lowered. That might be the same effect with the Porsche Targa. We've talked about that in the reviews as well. I felt, better protected against the wind in the normal Porsche 911 convertible than in the Porsche Targa, which had this, the sticky clothing behind me, where you have the fixed part behind you. That might be the same effect here. Might have something to do with the wind flow. So just go for this setup here. And later on, we'll just stop and then close everything back again, that we can tell you something about the sound installation. Yeah, well, it's convertible driving. That's really just awesome. And the amazing thing is, well, it's such a tiny car, but you're sitting here, from the comfort. As we have this upright seating position here, at least like not only in a micro car, but at least as in a small car segment, maybe even as comfortable as in a compact car. And that's really a remarkable thing. Of course, the car hasn't got any wheelbase at all, almost, and doing some turning here in this circle, and the handling is really amazing due to this short wheelbase. I can do whatever I want, and it's really a lot of fun. And I can just turn the car around almost on standstill. That is just really crazy. It feels like I was just turning around. And they've even increased that feeling with a new generation. And of course, that's just really awesome for the city driving. So you can have a lot of fun with it. Of course, it's not a real sporty machine, but just from standstill, due to the low weight, below 1 ton, you can also do some stuff at the traffic light. And of course, when you're changing lanes, also very agile feeling, because the car is again that light, and the steering is quite direct, I must say. And if you compare it to the previous generation, you also got a kind of high quality feeling in comparison. Oh, pigeons on the road, poor pigeons. Okay, everything worked out. So, first red traffic light here in the city. There's not so much happening traffic-wise today on Valencia. I'm quite glad about that. Yeah, now again the dashboard is rattling. I really have to hold the camera tight. Or Katrina does that, thank you. That's one thing I'm not that good. And this rattling, by the way, when no one is sitting next to me, I also have to pay attention that I close the seat belt. So when I drive alone, just close the passenger seat belt. Otherwise, it's also rattling a little bit and creating some strange noises. Suspension-wise, the car is quite firm, I would say, but definitely a comfortable ride here with the suspension. And as I have this automatic gearbox, a dual clutch transmission, this is also a very comfortable solution when riding here inside the city, because I don't have to care about gear switches. That's also a very nice thing. However, you have to think about, do you want to pay this extra price? I'm a fan of automatic gearbox, yes, but it's also good if you can just, pay 10,000 bucks and then get the Smart for 2. Otherwise, it might get too expensive, so you have to really think about that. But it's a huge improvement in comparison to the previous generation, where you had this Tiptronic style, this half automatic way, and gear changes took really ages. And here you almost don't feel it with the 6-speed dual clutch transmission when they are shifting. As we're now at the next red traffic light, the next acceleration will be a little bit harder. So please, every cameraman inside the car, prepare for a hard acceleration from standstill. It's green, let's go. Oh, and the next red traffic light. That's what can happen in the city. Of course. We'll go again with the next one then. Maybe break out that circle. That's, by the way, a situation here, and there's a big truck next to me, and whoa, I feel a little bit intimidated by that. That is one disadvantage of the Smart. The advantage that you are so flexible and agile inside the city, but then again, whoa, when such a huge car standing next to you, that is not the best feeling to have in this car here, of course. So, let's wait for the next traffic light and then see if we can escape this camion, this truck. Boom, and see ya. Whoa. And that was 0 to 60. That went quite well. So, very good acceleration, as I've told you earlier, 10 seconds from 0 to 100 kilometers. But of course, you rather have this problem, when you're going to the higher speeds. So 0 to 50 is really even better as for the figure. So you really got a good boost inside the city. However, if you just drive to the inner city, you can also go for the natural aspirated engines. Well, a turbo cannot break there because there is no turbo then. So that is always an advantage of the non-turbo engines. If you want to do some motorway driving, you will be more satisfied with the turbo then. So especially this one here, the combination turbo and the dual clutch transmission is surely the most fun and the most powerful setup for the Smart Fortwo. But then again, also the most expensive one. So it's really remarkable how much fun you can have in such a small car. And if we think about other convertibles again, yeah, there are hardly any cheap convertibles anymore. I mean, think of the Mazda MX-5, that one is still available. The Citroën DS3, well, just called DS3 now. That one, you cannot remove the sides there. You can just open the panoramic soft roof there. That could some kind of a convertible. But then, what are there other convertibles? The new Fiat Spider, that one maybe now that is coming. But then most of the other convertibles are very expensive premium cars, so it's very nice to have such one here now that you can, have an affordable convertible still, and also one that is very suitable inside the city. And let's see. Katerina says I should be turning right, and I turn right. Always listen to what women say. Good advice. So, and maybe if that's something that is happening in Spain sometimes. People stopping just in front of the road. So, yeah, good acceleration, and the sound's really quite nice. Of course, you cannot hear that well at the moment because we also have this open top. But I can stress again, it's not too hot today, but in this setup here with windows up, It's really a great feeling, and I'm also looking forward how is the comparison when I put the sidebars in. Then we will do that quite soon, and then we can also give you another impression then with sidebars mounted and open, and then finally fully closed. So far I can really say I have a quite comfortable ride. I have enough flexibility even as a tall driver, and the seats are really very comfortable, and it's a good fun driving. Sometimes when you drive small cars and small cars that are really good, you really tend to think about, there are a lot of great emotional big sporty cars, big SUVs and so on and so on. But what do you really need? And when you ride a car like this, then you sometimes think, oh, well, isn't that enough? So, for example, one of our Autogefühl colleagues, he sold this bigger vehicle and went for a smart convertible because it's more comfortable than a sporty convertible. And still, you don't have to have a separate basement garage or whatever for it. So you always stay flexible, and no matter where you live. Yeah, that's kind of it from the open top riding. Sometimes the dual transmission takes a little bit of time to shift down. It could be maybe a little bit faster. Also, there is this kind of push down happening when I, pressing the throttle. But that is also one reason. Usually, there's a gear higher set in to save some fuel, of course. And talking about fuel, we can also take a look at the consumption. And well, we've pressed the throttle through quite some time now, and let's see, 9.6 liters. That would be a little bit high, but it might have something to do with the turbo then, because with the naturally aspirated engine we scored way lower consumptions. But of course this is also city riding. It will, I think, more be about 6 liters if you also have some motorway inside the mix. Then again you have to think about, okay, this is a city car, so you basically ride it inside the city. And inside the city you usually have some higher consumptions. But I'll keep you updated when we ride here a little bit longer, because usually when you start the car, consumption is quite high. The oil is not warmed up yet, and so that will go down a little bit. So I would say we search some safe spot where we can just halt the car and then mount the sidebars again, and then we can show you that comparison in riding. So I've put in the upper sidebars again, and what is good, by the way, if you have the roof lowered to the second level in the back, then you can have a good visibility behind, and you even won't need the rear view camera. And what I immediately realized, it has a very strong effect on the wind insulation. Don't have to talk that loud anymore. And indeed, to remove the sidebars, that's more than I have expected, really, because now you just from the acoustics and also just from the feeling and from the light, you more have the feeling of a closed car again. And if you, for example, open the windows on both sides, of course, then you have air flowing around still. But I think, well, the main thing about a convertible, because with panoramic roof you can have the top open, the main thing about a convertible is really that the way to the side and the upper part, the way in between, that one is open. And that is closed here right now. However, if I drive it now, that would be maybe a solution for winter time or when it's rainy. When it can rain any time, then you're more flexible, because then you can close it at any second again. That is, of course, a very handy solution then. So now we're passing the famous City of Arts and Science here in Valencia, a very beautiful, magnificent building, and also with a nice park nearby. You can go over some bridges here and take a look at the water ponds. And we can also test how the car behaves then when I put it to the first level. Then we have it even more close. Now it's rather as it would be like, you know, DS3 convertible, for example, just with a big panoramic roof. That is already a very nice thing, but not the real deal. As I've installed the bars now, you know, the more you do it, the more practice you get. So, you know, it won't be such a hassle when you have practice a little bit more often. But then again, well, if it's starting to rain and you haven't the bars installed, that might cause some problems. Now it's time to close the roof completely, and as I said before, you can do that until the speed of 120. It's quite impressive. Now we're totally closed, and of course a convertible doesn't have the best sound insulation, and it's also not the case as, for example, with a totally soundproof roof like this Audi acoustic roofs. That one cannot catch up to that. So when I'm staying still here right now, especially what we hear from the back part of the car, yeah, you know, there are definitely cars that are better isolated. So you shouldn't expect too much as for this. And if you're only driving with closed top, then I think the normal smart car will be better suitable for you. However, if you ask me, I mean, you cannot transport so much stuff with a smart anyway, so then why not go for a convertible, because then you always are flexible and can drive with the open top and just enjoy your lifestyle for whatever reason you drive that car here. Other things with the closed top is interesting that I have a huge space above my head, so that is absolutely no problem. And adds to this very spacious feeling that does even apply when you're a tall person. Also with this very steep windows, that is another thing that contributes to this factor. And as we're driving a little bit faster now, let's go to 100. The turbo sets in now very well. Now we're driving 100. It gets quite loud here, and yeah, as for the sound, it's not very good for the motorway. The higher speeds, when I'm now pushing the throttle even further, not so much is happening there, but it's a huge difference really to the non-turbo engines. Also at higher speeds, the car, you know, with a very small wheelbase, it doesn't get unstable yet, but it doesn't feel that stable as you maybe would drive in a small segment car, which is a longer wheelbase and just gives you more stability on the road. And that is, again, a difference. But I mean, if you drive commuting to work and have motorways where you don't have that high speeds, then it also won't matter that much, definitely. So overall, a very fun car. And it's really amazing what already such a small car can offer, I must say. Let me conclude about the all-new Smart Cabrio. I really like this small convertible because in general I love convertibles, and this one here is really a solution if you think, okay, I'm living in the city, I have hardly any parking space, but I'm still a convertible fan, but I couldn't do, you know, with a normal, very long convertible, then this is your solution. As for the interior quality, they really stepped up the game a little bit also to the first versions of this all-new generation, so they fixed some stuff in detail, and I really appreciate that. Of course, we still have some weird solutions like the front hood and then the opening process with the bars and storage in behind. Wasn't too keen on that, to be honest. But then we also got some clever solutions and some very nice emotional design elements, which Smart is very famous for. It's a really fun car to drive because it has such a good handling with this, well, has almost no wheelbase at all, and therefore it's so agile, it feels like you can just turn it around on standstill, and therefore it's really the perfect city car. And if you think about if more people would drive with such small cars, really, they take so much less vehicle space and traffic space in total, so it's really a good approach for a city. And let's be honest, I mean, you sit very comfortable in there, even as a tall person. That's really a surprise. And then most of the time we drive alone or with two people, and then we don't really need necessarily a very big car. However, a Smart is never a cheap car. For the small car it is relatively expensive, and you have to swallow that, especially over at our friends in the US, because it's one of the very rare cars that is more expensive in the US than in Europe. The most famous city for the Smart, by the way, in Europe is Rome. So I think especially for our Italian viewers, mille grazie also for watching that one, and that one will maybe be the most suitable car for Rome then. However, if you take a look at the whole country, the convertible, if you take the whole mix, is very famous also in Great Britain. So about 15% or even more than 15% of the Brits take the convertible from the whole Smart lineup. And well, Germany and California, of course, the other big convertible countries, they are also quite keen on the convertible. So I hope you liked our insight here today on the Smart convertible. Also check out our other Smart review we have of the closed version. You can check it out in the video description. And I hope you join us at the next Autogefühl episode with Thomas. Thanks.